Yo, what's up, guys? I have a lot of new stuff coming in. I have the BGRs. I have more tips and tricks for you guys. But before that's gonna be different videos. So it's been a crazy week. So expect those videos. It's gonna be awesome. But on this video, we're gonna talk about the different motor types and the different styles that you can use in order to implement a better service to your clientele, or maybe you're a student and want to increase your knowledge, which is always good. It's always good to be a little bit better in the field than other people. That's my personal opinion. But anyway, so we're going to talk about the three motor types within the clippers. Okay, so three motor types. One, you have your pivot motor. Two, you have your magnetic motor. And three, you finally have your awesome rotary motor. You're going to love the rotary motor more than any other ones, but the magnetic one is more famous. Now, if you guys own a pair or maybe some Fast Fees or Speedmasters, congratulations, you have a pivot motor. Now the pivot motor consists of two magnets and then pretty much an arm that goes to one side and pivots, okay? Like the name implies, pivot motor. The pivot motor is very strong, okay? But it lacks speed. So strength, speed. And I wish I had a chart for you guys. That would have been awesome. But strength, speed, this is the pivot motor. The pivot motor is great for taking off a whole bunch of volume of hair like a rotary motor, but if you don't have a rotary motor, you can use a pivot motor. But if anybody that has owned Fast Feeds, or maybe you own a pair of Fast Feeds and you're like, well, I wish this was faster, sorry, you have a pivot motor. That's it. That's as fast as they're gonna get. But only because they're not as fast doesn't mean that you should disregard them. They're great for coarse hair or really curly hair. If you're going with the grain, it won't cut everything. It's going to keep the waves nice and intact. It's going to be a very nice, and it creates a very soft blend compared to the other types of clippers. Now, the soft blend that I was telling you about is because of the slow speed, which I'm going to try and find pictures and maybe put that up in a different type of video and of blends. But alright, that's pretty much the pivot motor. Now the second motor is going to be the magnetic motor. This one is more famous. Okay, you find this in the Andis Masters, the Wahl V9000, V5000 series, and this is pretty much how it goes. You have one magnet and then a spring. Winds up, magnet pushes on the spring, and the spring vibrates it back and forth. So a magnetic motor is also known as a vibration motor. So if you on Amazon and you're trying to find a different thing and then it says, oh, it's a vibration motor, all it means is just a magnetic motor. Now the magnetic motor, like I said, motor, spring, action, it goes really fast. Okay, now the problem, there's a little bit of cons, although with new engineering and better motors and more complete motors being made, this one is not as strong as a pivot motor, but it's in there. Okay, it's almost as strong. You can clip her over comb easily. You can take off volumes of hair, but you won't take off as much. Now, I own Wahls and I've owned the Masters and I've owned a lot of different magnetic clippers, and it's kind of true when you try to take off a whole bunch of volume of hair, it usually just leaves a couple of strands out, or it actually slows down. The motor slows down because it's just too much hair for the clipper to cut at one time. So the magnetic motor, they're not as expensive as the pivot motors. Obviously, the more higher end you go, the more expensive it's going to get, just like anything else in this world. But yeah, that's the magnetic motor. The magnetic motors are most famously utilized by a whole variety of clippers. So that's the magnetic motor. Finally, the rotary motor. The rotary motor, if you own a pair of BGRs or 76ers or the Wahl detailers, or I don't know, some other Andis products. I haven't really been in the Andis side, although I am getting into it. The rotary motor consists of many parts, and it's just moving. It uses momentum to destroy the hair. Okay, just obliterate it. Now, the cool thing about the rotary motor is the rotary motor, pivot motor, magnetic motor. This thing is powerful. It's the most powerful of all three motors, but it's also decently it's decent in speed wise. So it's actually the speed, and then there's the power. Okay, they're usually go hand in hand. So this is why the 76ers is so famous. It cuts through a whole bunch of volume. It has the perfect speed to cut everything down. It has the perfect amount of power to take everything down. If there's a customer and he has this afro, you will take it down with ease with the classic 76er. Obviously, if the dude picks it out and it's all nice and the hair is ready to be cut instead of just going right off of it, it's not going to give you as much problems. But like I said, the anything rotary is fantastic. Okay, like the Wahl detailers. Anybody with the Wahl detailers, and I do have a review and comparison, lightweight comparison. So that's going to be on the link below, or you can click this annotation up here in the corner. But if any of you guys own the Wahl detailers that contains a rotary motor, you're going to find out that it's going to cut through hair. Okay, if it's going to cut through hair almost to bald, and there's just going to be no problem with it. Okay, this thing will cut through it. Why? Because the speed and the power are just as great. So there's a couple of cordless clippers that I'm also trying to get and trying to review for you guys that also contain a rotary motor. I don't know how the power is going to work out that well, but there you guys go. That's the 3 types of motors. If you guys have any more questions, please comment or send me a message. If you guys thought this video was informative, like, comment, subscribe. You guys know what to do. One barber to another. See you guys later.